Yo, what's good in the web? This your man Q back again, and sorry about the lack of videos and everything so far this week. Work, weather, it's still damn near a blizzard out here in Cali. At least it feels like it's a blizzard out here in Cali. And as a person who tropical, I'm not cool with that cold, so I gotta kind of hibernate a little bit too. But the show must go on, and I wanted to do like I said I was going to do in every other week or so, show you guys some fashion or form of what I have been working on, not only over on Twitch, but also under the Geek Show, but also when I'm not on Twitch because I'm not able to do everything on Twitch. So long story short, last time on the lab, last time we had a situation where I was able to get the ship to run, but I was not able to get the ship to do exactly what I wanted it to do. It looked a little funky when I was trying to the transition from the party to the ship. I fixed that a little. It still looks a little funny, but I'll show you guys first, and then once I show you guys, then after that, then I'll go into some of the mechanics and stuff of how I did it and what I need to do and what I want to do, and also some little character renders and stuff that was doing, was a few waifus and X, Y, and Z that I will need to fix sooner than later. So as you can see right here, I've already changed the little party member people and stuff like that. But I will, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So first and foremost, let's just jump into this. What I did was just made it a standard option. That part, that's the part that bothers me a little bit. I need to find out a way how to transition or fix that. I do have it where I'm using the Xbox One Pro controller, Xbox One controller, and I like the fact that it allows me to be able to go fast, and it is, do like a normal speed and everything. Let me press the F5 here, and then I'll bring this up so you guys can see it. Shout out again to the homeboy TJ who did this battle theme. Don't it sound like water? Don't it sound like some old pirate stuff? So since they're gonna kick my ass on this, I already know. Let's jump up to, I will bring everybody to level 10. And then we'll reflect and test play. All right. So that way I can actually attack and kill. So then I can do the demonstration. But what I wanted to do, I turned this from the last battle that I had it. This is why I think I might probably have to make the ship a little wider. I need to go and look up more about the ship sizes and relative to the cannons, as well as the characters. I was playing Octopath Traveler 2. Matter of fact, last night, no, it was the other night on Oswald's part, and it was showing in the beginning of the game like the characters on the ship, and I was looking at the perspective of how big the characters were to how big the ship was. So I do want to try to get as good as I can with that, you know what I mean? Try to get it as good as possible as I can. The best as possible as I can. I don't know how I will be, because I wish they didn't have the cannons on the ship like that. So we already have the ship right here, and somebody did a comment earlier on one of the other videos about how I was able to change the sound, and that was pretty easy. I just went to the resources over here, and then I just made a copy of what I wanted, which was the terrain, which was the water terrain, and then I just took the sound off because it just sounded ugly. Like I put wind on it just for temporarily, because that sounded closer than the little drip drop like you'll see when I go to another area. So other than that, with the battle, I still want to make certain battles and or certain enemies, like that was 3 enemies. Say if it's 1 enemy, what I want to do with that 1 enemy is maybe make it, like a horizontal battle So each thing will be different. So it'll be like 3 different random type ship battle type things. And then like one where it's an actual boss battle or something, like it's a big enemy. And those are things that are in the future. Like I haven't even really fully defined how I want the battle system to be. I do know that I'm going to do a turn-based battle system here. And I do know that since the game is high fantasy, I'm going to be doing magic. So I do want to do the Pokemon battle system, like where water, you know, lightning beats water, water beats earth, you know, stuff like that. Also, there's plants and stuff, so I do have that, which I call it like echomancy and things within the story. So that would be, you know, water, and then, you know, you fire beats water, water beats fire, so you get that. Also, I have it set because, for many of you know, from Final Fantasy 7, 8, and a lot of other games, I can't think of any other off the top of my head but those, where 9 were able to do it too. Where you're able to press the menu button and it brings you to the actual ship. So what the idea here is going to be, like, the party's following me now, but I haven't put the right variable into it just yet, where the party's following me and or they're not following me. And then what I want to do is, well, actually I did do it, but the other day when I was doing it, the lights cut out. So it just, no, I didn't save it. I know, I didn't save it at that time, but the lights cut out. So what happened was I have to redo it. I had some dialogue and everything up for the characters. So this is what I was meaning by the perspective with from the cannons with the ship. So when you press the menu button, you go back, you go to the actual ship, and then ideally what I want is the party, or whoever's in your party, I want them to be able to have their own particular dialogue depending on the event and scenario, or wherever you're at in the game, they'll say something different. And then these right here, the doors, they'll eventually go into something else. I don't like how the perspective is there, but that's workable, right? You'll be able to go into like different parts, the kitchen, the other quarters and stuff of the ship and everything. And then up here, I have it where, at the helm, the reason why I shrank it too as well is because the helm here was so huge and I didn't like that. I wish that was a separate type of thing rather than me needing to, if I could put it on there and then size it versus it just automatically being on there. The same thing with the cannons. I wish that they didn't have those and then I can size them myself. So I still haven't figured out what variable and how to end the variables and things for me to be able to press the button and it takes me back directly to whatever location I am at on whatever map I'm on, if that makes sense. So say if you're playing, like, you're in an airship on Final Fantasy 8 on the Ragnarok, and then you're over Balam Garden, or where it used to be, and then you press I had to look at it, the menu button, and the menu button takes you to the, to the bridge, and in this, case, it takes you to the deck, and then when you press the menu button again, it brings you back. So right now, what I did for that instead is when you touch the helm, you just ask it a question, and then do you want to pull up the anchor, and then it brings me back to this place. Ignore that whale. I was just testing something out, just to test it out. So what we will do, and I can go right back, and it'll say the same thing. And if you notice that the size difference here, where it trips that little glitchy thing, I still need to figure out how to do that. That's why those other ships were there. I wanted to make sure I had a copy of them. I'm gonna touch the whale only to do this demonstration because I was just testing the different warp teleportations, like which will be best for me. Because initially I had a huge event that I just stretched out the collision for it. So anytime you touch it, the player touches it or gets close to it, then it'll just transport me to a new map, which this is about to do here. It's going to transfer me to my world map, which I finally, since the last video, I believe this was the last video, I was able to find out how to change the entire maps and stuff. So you see, the issue with it has been now is, see, that's the sound, if you guys can hear that. That's the sound of the old, oh, it's raining too, I got over this part, where it sounds like it's just a drip. But the ship is actually a 2, a size 2. And by it being a size 2, a 2.0, that's why it's so big here. The other one is a 0.2 of the ship. So what I want to do is be able to travel whenever I change maps, because the whole premise and base of the game is going to be heavy on the water world part. Then you're going to be able to, it's going to retain its size. So I can still use the menu access right here from that and go back. But what it does is it brings me back to that actual area that I was at. So let me close this and I'm going to take a look at how I was able to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my ship here, and then we'll just pull up. I guess I could have pulled up the events here under that, but I like to hands-on kind of thing. I just wanted to get physically here on the actual map here. So what I end up doing here is just made a basic conversation. I played the sound that I wanted, and then I was able to check results and give it its own yes or no. And when you press yes, then what it does is it adds the order to the party train. So I erased the other party members and I added the ship. And then because I did it before differently and it kind of wigged everything out. And then I'm going to change it changes it instantly to the size of a 0.2. So what I think I might need to do is to put like a small delay and or like a certain flash, but the flash what I was doing with the brightening the screen and stuff, it wasn't working out or panning out the way I wanted to do. So I have to go back and change that. And then I also added a which you heard, which is the battle music here. Or the background film music. I also enabled the ability to be able to save while I'm on the ship. I took away the jump because the ship doesn't need to jump. It can move at a different speed. What I do want to do eventually too is make it have a gas meter, or where it's like, how when you have a stamina meter where you're only able to use so much, and I want that to be like with the ships and stuff. So I'm doing my best with this one too, because I don't have the full team or capacity to, and this is my first game I'm creating, I want to be able to do some of the little nuances that kind of separate it or make it feel more like a game, but make it feel organically like a game, if that makes sense. And then I just put it as to delete the event. And then here, what we have, if you select no, it just completely events it. It completely deletes it. I haven't even messed with any of the other add things to sheets. I'm still relatively new, even though I've been playing around with this since December 24th. But learning variables and light coding and everything, that's a new thing for me. So we getting there. As far as, I was starting this with the map transition to see if I can make like a variable and or some type of an event. So then when I went to a different area, it would just trigger that. So I'm still playing around with that. And I get it. I get it. So this is the deck access, which I just called it. Which is the buttons that allow me to use to get to the menu screen. So, excuse me, I just put it on an automatically start, repeat, parallel, and then enable the save play data, and then disable the menu. So the reason why I disabled the menu button while I was in the ship, or disable the menu button, is so that way I just had that as the button to be able to, well, you'll see. So what I did was I went to the advanced variable box, and then I changed it to pressing the button. So I made press the X button, press menu pressed, or Y press. I had these different ones, and I got that from, I don't know if it was the homie Driftwood or who exactly it was that I was watching one of their videos. If I find a video, I'll do this. I'll put it up there in post, after the fact. But what you do is you go ahead and just add it, and then what operation key that I want to do, I wanted to do operation key, or what did I want to do? I wanted to make it an operation key, meaning when I pressed it, that particular button, and it would do something. So I made it be the menu. For a while I had it jump, but when I was just outside of the ship and I was jumping, it was going to the actual thing. So that's why I decided to disable the menu while I was on the ship. It still does this funky thing where I need to like stop the event and the variables and add other stuff, so it'll completely end the event. So then when I press the menu button again for a second time while I'm on the ship, then it will take me back to the other area. But for now, I will just disable it, and then I just have to go to the helm. That will actually add a little more time onto the adventure, as well as, you know, to be able to explore the ship more. So then I went to just assign, so it's assigning the operation keys to be pressed. And then, just to check down when that happens, it checks the variable box again. And then when it checks the variable box, when the menu is pressed, then I don't understand what A equals B equals that. It was automatic variable. And like I said, I seen a tutorial about it. And then I was like, okay, I played with it. It works. So I'm not going to dig completely into it. It's just kind of like your TV. When you press the remote, it come on. You don't necessarily need to know how. I probably don't need to know how, but at this particular point in time, I don't want to know. I don't need to know everything just yet. So then what you do is I specified where I wanted it to go, and then I put it on the ship. The weird thing about the ship was I had to put it in the middle because it has terrain here inside of the ship, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. I don't want to take too much time up because this video is kind of already lengthy, just a little bit. And then what I do is I had deleted that before I made it, but when it didn't save, it just kept it here, where the party is actually, the ship is out of the party now, but the other 4 members will be in here. So the way it has is the first through 4th person is going to just be in the party, and they'll just follow me around. Then it just ends the event. So that's how I was able to do that. So before we leave, what I want to show you guys is my map here. What I end up doing was, under the ship, I just made a couple different boats for I'm just going to name those probably like ship battles or something. And I wanted them to be the same size. And under here, is this the one? So what I did here is, because it was doing this weird thing where I would just fall straight through when it was something else. I even made it an event at one time, and I know that it's a way that I can make the whole collision rate onto the ship where I won't have to do this, that the characters will just stand on the ship without it. It'll be a complete event. I don't know how to do that yet. So for now, this one I'm gonna do to get the point that I need to get. So this is the ship that we go to for the menu screen. So then you can do all the nice things and rotate around the camera and everything. I haven't put any music on any of these yet. It still kind of sounds a little lonely. Only just the battle music as for now. And then, so this here is the battle thing. And the ships are the same size. I got them at 1.8. I think that was supposed to be the good size for it. Did I do the same thing here? Yeah, I did the same thing here. Because it does this weird thing too underneath, where I don't really care about that, but it did this weird thing. You can also go inside the event. You can do a custom event, and you can make the ship type slightly idle a little bit, where it moves and grooves and stuff. I did that on the battles. I do want to, so say, for instance, if I did it too, right? Well, let's do this first. We'll go back to here. I'm going to go to the actual ship, and I'm going to raise it to 2 to show you guys what I mean before we close. And then I'm going to raise this to 2. And then I'm just going to test play it. And then what we'll do is we'll get to the ship, and then we'll close. So I wanted to see how it looks, or you guys to see exactly what I was talking about how it looks rather. Um, when it is, see, it's also when I press the menu, since it's a common event, it automatically takes me to see how this is. I'm not particularly on there on the ship completely. Like, I have to raise it, but and I can't even jump. Can I? Yeah, there I go. But I guess that's not too bad, right? But what I didn't like, and it's just my own little OCD or my own little weird thing that I didn't want. I didn't want the, why can't I go over it? Yeah, it's like that's got a collision rate right there. So I'll have to resize that. But you see how much bigger the helm is than the characters, and you can't really resize the characters for whatever reason. Like, this part doesn't bother me. I actually like the fact that the ship is, like, these are bigger. And I actually like that. I could even, the doors don't have to be bigger. I mean, it is what it is. Those doors are just weird and funky because I raised the ship. But yeah, so far, that's what I got for y'all so far. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot. I know I said that before. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in hindsight, when you're doing it, it's a lot. It took me a whole stream, 2 streams, really, just to be able to just to be able to do the transition to pressing a menu button, because I hadn't seen it done. And shout out to the homie Dis, who always stops into the stream, and he gave me some encouragement. He was like, bro, you're actually doing a tutorial, or you did something that there's no tutorial for. It's for a new program. And even though Smile Game Builder has been around a while, the predecessor of Bakin here, I hadn't seen anything that wanted to do particularly what I wanted to do. And then me being me, I always want to do some extra type stuff, you know. So amongst that, I still want to do some stuff with the battles. And I did want to show you guys some of the characters that I did have. And I know what some of y'all gonna say, but just, we're gonna close it on my waifus. This was one of my characters I want to do. Asaru, or no. I changed her name to back to Isis, which was going to be an elf. And then, can I get Lady Serenity, or we don't do Serenity around these parts? Hi, Tifa. We don't do Serenity around these parts. And then I had another character, which many of you guys may have heard me talk about, that I had a little model after Hana from Yuzaki-chan, wants to hang out. And I'm going to have her be a dwarf. And she's going to wield hammers and axes and broadswords. She was a character I had from, oh my lord, like way back in 2001, that this was laying around in a whole bunch of papers and votes and stuff. But I have a whole bunch of like ideas I do want to implement on these on this game, and it's taken a lot for me not to be crazy and do every idea that I have, because then I'll never complete this and finish this. But the goal is to basically have it where when you're on the world map, each little area here, and this is not really a little area, but each area is going to be like a different zone. And each zone is going to be its own map, like battle map. So say if you have to go do 4 or 5 of them, I'm not saying it's going to be that, but some areas might be 4 or 5. So if you look like, so it's just kind of like on the world map, it doesn't look that far from Hawaii to, the mainland, but in all actuality, those are millions, not millions, and the millions, no, not millions, but that's a long way. So I want this area to be, each area to have its own little small, maybe minuscule, teeny tiny type of islands, or maybe landmarks. I really love, let me write that down because I forgot about landmarks, but like landmarks and stuff, because that was actually one of my favorite things off of Skies of Arcadia. So if you guys are feeling Skies of Arcadia or Pirates of Darkwater vibes, then you are correct. But Anyway, that's all I have for y'all. I know this was a longer video than I wanted it to be. Hopefully you were able to get maybe some knowledge out of it, you know, for your own project. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure hit me up. Even if I don't make videos every day, I will answer comments. I am here. And if you did like the video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, you want to stay up to date with all things ARPG, that's Afro role-playing games, JRPGs and RPGs, not just my own, but them AAA titles, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And when you like it, it lets YouTube know to send it out to more people. And as always in the web, remember to eat, sleep, geek, repeat. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.